Good evening, and welcome to a brand new semester of Bobcat Blitz. No, you're not suffering from deja vu. I'm your host, worth more than most, Gary Gorecki, and accompanying me tonight on stage are some of the sharpest sports minds Quinnipiac University has to offer. So let's go around and meet them.
I'm Marty Joseph, I'm a sophomore.
I'm Shane Doyle, I'm a junior.
I am Nick Serbinsky, I'm a junior.
I'm Jordan, I'm a sophomore.
All right, fellas. Well, we made the viewers wait long enough. Let's get right into the action. Now, one of the biggest issues in this year's offseason was the situation with the referees in the NFL. The usual referees are on strike, and it seems that they have replaced them up until this point in the regular season. I want one of you guys, or all of you guys actually, to assess what they did yesterday and give them some form of a grade. Jordan?
Well, I'm going to give them a 6 out of 10. Overall, I thought they were very solid. A few inconsistencies. Obviously, you had the big mistake in the Cardinals-Seahawks game where they gave the Seahawks a 4th timeout. It didn't end up affecting the outcome of the game. But other than that, also the Packers-49ers game, the missed block in the back on the Randall Cobb return, that could have been a deciding factor in the game. But other than that, I thought they were pretty good, really what you would expect from a referee in their first regular season game.
Okay, understandable. Marty?
I have to agree with Jordan. I don't really think they really affected any outcome of any of the games. Sure, there were a lot more penalties than normal at seeing in a game through the first week, but if they don't do that, then you might have players taking advantage of them, and you definitely don't want that happening. So I'd give them an average, probably a 5 or a 6 out of 10.
All right, let's stay over here with Shane.
I would give them a C or a 5, a 6. It would be a 5, but I thought they made some questionable calls, but with the NFL, there's always going to be calls that are definitely questionable, and I think that they performed adequately, but they weren't great by any standard.
Zerb?
Well, I like to kind of stray away from the norm, so I'm not going to go with the regular numbers. And, we have a new sponsor here, Bobcat Blitz, Ray and Mike's Deli, and we're going to use their grading scale. So the referees, in my opinion, didn't really get up to the sub level or the giant level. So whatever your favorite kind of rap is, you give them that for their grade. So yeah, in your opinion, probably 5 or 6, but it's a rap. And the reason why they gave Seattle an extra timeout in the Seattle-Arizona game, you with the Cardinals jersey may have seen that. Seattle got to use 4 timeouts in that late in that game, so that obviously not a good thing. In the Patriots game, admittedly, the Patriots got away with 2 or 3 pass interference calls in the end zone. Would have completely changed the beginning of that game. So big plays that they missed, and a player was quoted saying that the players were laughing at the referee's incompetence on the sidelines, so you can't have that.
Yeah, no, it does seem that they blew more calls than we're used to seeing in the NFL this weekend, and that Arizona-Seattle game did get very dicey at the end. So I'm going to give you first. Jordan, second. Shane, third. And Marty, fourth. Moving on, we had 5 rookie quarterbacks start yesterday. And it seems on the spectrum of quarterback play, we saw some really good play, like from Robert Griffin, and we saw some not so good play from Brandon Weeden, and everyone else falling in between. Which one of those performances do you guys think was the most misleading after just watching one game? Shane?
I think that Robert Griffin III's was the most misleading. You can't expect someone to complete over 70% of their passes. It was 19 to 26, and as a rookie or any quarterback, you can't expect someone to do that throughout the whole season. So I think he's going to be a real good player this year and could possibly win Rookie of the Year, but you can't expect him to do that much.
All right. Zerbinski?
I think Robert Griffin, you may be right in some ways, but I think he, out of all the rookie quarterbacks, will end up being the best. And those stats that he had yesterday really showed that he has so much potential, especially on a Washington team that they have a couple weapons, but they're not a top-tier team. I think the most misleading was Andrew Luck. I think that this is going, in my opinion, on a person just in his perspective, not the team they're on, not the guys they have. He is in a spot where he really is not set up to succeed to the highest standards. Peyton Manning made it work, but he had Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison. He had all those guys around him, and Andrew Luck is, when he gets to where he will be, it won't be with Indianapolis. So I think the stats he had yesterday were not up to his potential.
Jordan?
I'm actually going to go with Brandon Weeden. I think Andrew Luck is going to be better than we saw yesterday, But I just think in terms of most misleading, Brandon Whedon. You can't expect a guy to throw 4 interceptions every game. I think he's a much better quarterback than that. Needs a little bit of polish. He's not on a very good team. Doesn't have a lot of weapons around him. But I think all in all, I think as the season progresses, he's going to get better. And I think it's going to be much better than, obviously, what we saw yesterday.
All right. Take us home.
Yeah, he just took my pick. I was going to go with Whedon, too. I don't think historically, you're not going to be able to get much worse. So you really got to cut the guy some slack. He only had a 5.1 passer rating. So he's going to get better. It's obviously his first game with a new team that isn't that very good. So he's obviously going to get better. So I think he was the most misleading yesterday.
All right. I'm going to have to give it to Bob Griffin. Shane gets first. And then Zerb, I like what you said about luck. And then Jordan third, and Marty fourth. Actually, we have a new feature here on Bobcat Blitz. We actually have a man doing the scoring table live, and to let you guys know the scores as they develop through the show. All stop?
Well, I'm sorry, Gronk, but like your failed spike attempts, you are the one out today.
Not yet.
I'm sorry, but you're out for today. You finished last both, so
No one's been voted off yet.
What?
One more question.
Yeah, this is just kind of to keep them up.
We know that math thing's really tough, but we have 3 questions. We did 2, so there's 1 more.
Oh,
His calculator's
I thought it was
broken.
me. All right, so 1 second. Zerbinski is first with 7 points. Shane is second with 6 points. Jordan is third with 5 points, and Mojo is last with 2 points. Sorry for the.
He'll get it. That's why he's at that desk.
Overall, a tight race. One of the most inconsistent players in the NFL that we've seen a lot of very good from, like getting more than 2,000 all-purpose yards, and then not so good from is Chris Johnson. He only rushed for 4 yards yesterday and probably didn't perform up to expectations. Is this the Chris Johnson we're going to see all season? Marty?
Yeah, I think it is. I think that he finally was exploited, and yesterday we saw he couldn't. When he doesn't find a hole, he only really has his speed to his advantage. He wasn't finding any holes in the Patriots' defense, and it was obviously shown. Obviously, he's not going to run for 4 yards every game, but I think he's not going to be the Chris Johnson we saw 2 years ago.
Okay, Shane?
Well, I think he's a dynamic playmaker, and yesterday might have just been a little bit of an aberration. He's one of the top 5 running backs in this league, I believe, and I think, but he's not going to put up the numbers he has been, obviously, because they're going to continue to the defenses are going to put 8, 9 man in the box with Jake Locker now as quarterback. So I think you have to kind of temper your expectations, but you can't expect him to do that, Ben.
Okay, Jordan?
I think this is not necessarily the Chris Johnson we're going to see. He's going to be a little bit better, but I don't think he's going to be the same 2,000-yard rusher that we saw a couple of years ago. But also, I think what you have to remember yesterday, the Titans were down early. They had to pass a lot in order to try and come back and win the game. And I just lost my train of thought. And so they're a running team. So in other games, when they're not down by so much, he'll be able to get into a rhythm. So I think he'll be a little bit better, and I think he'll probably get over 1,000 yards this year, but I don't think he's going to be the same top-of-the-league running back that we've seen in the past.
Zerbinski?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everyone. Agree more, or I agree less with Marty because I think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be bad. I think he's going to be like the other two said. He's not going to be the top guy, that he usually is. I don't think he's one of the top 5 running backs in the league just because you could name at least 10 that are better than him. I mean, after week 1, Stephen Ridley on the Patriots, the second year back, he lit it up. And if he has that, he shows that potential. Tennessee's not a great team, but I think Chris Johnson will be better than 4 yards because I think one of us could go out there and probably get 4 yards in a game. But he's not going to get the 2,000 yards. He's going to be middle of the pack with a Tennessee team that will have to focus on running because Jake Locker really will not be able to do much. But again, the Patriots looked much better on defense than I think anyone thought they were going to, and he couldn't find holes because they didn't give them any.
Okay, fair enough. I actually do lean towards more Marty's answer, so you get first. And then I'm going to go to Zerbinski. Shane gets third, and Jordan gets fourth. Adler, where does that leave us?
Well, we actually have a tie between Marty and Jordan for third place. So I don't know if what kind of tiebreaker you got or what you got, but you got to figure that out.
For third place, we have a tie. For
third and fourth. Yeah.
Oh no. Okay.
So best jersey, Patriots over Jets. Done.
Elimination.
Rock paper scissors. Go
Yeah.
classic. You gotta
Okay,
go classic.
let's do some rock paper scissors. We're not gonna get too crazy on the first show back. So rock paper scissors.
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3.
Let's go.
Square up, boys.
Are we getting up for this?
Yeah.
That was kind
Rocks, paper, scissors, shoot.
I did 3. Just say rock,
Paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, Jordan.
So it's 1 for you.
one Jordan.
You don't actually have to hit his hand.
Paper, scissors, shoot.
Ooh.
Let's go,
Ooh.
This is intense. This is great TV.
Oh, and as usual, the Patriots beat the Jets.
You got anything to say before you head on?
Well, usually I would go with the Darrelle Revis jersey in public, but Mark Sanchez played probably, I think, the best game of his career so far yesterday, so I had to give him some props today.
All right. Well, we're about to go to a quick break right here, and we'll be right back with more Blitz. Welcome back to Bobcat Blitz. All right, we got 3 more topics before we decide who makes it to the shootout. And considering it's so early on in the season, I want you guys to go around and pick your AFC favorite. Zerbinski?
All right. Well, see, I know the 3 of us are all Pats fans, and I think the generic pick would be the Pats. So like I said, straying away from the norm, I think there are a couple teams that could really do some damage, and one of the teams that showed the potential that they have is the Houston Texans. I think they're playing in a division this year that is going to be weaker than normal. They won't have that challenge that they've had every year from the Colts this year. They're going to have a relatively easy division schedule. If Matt Schaub can stay at the top level we've seen him and not kind of falter as he has on and off in his career, they can ride that. They can ride Andre Johnson and Arian Foster, has the chance to be the best running back in the league this year, in my opinion. The Houston Texans are going to be a team that, if they don't win, they will at least challenge the Patriots for that top seed in the AFC.
All right. Pretty good points. Shane?
Being generic, I'm going to have to say the Patriots. If you look at them this year, and last year they made it to the Super Bowl last year, but if you look at their defense now, they got drafted Dante Hightower, Chandler Jones, both made impacts yesterday and will continue to. And then if you look offensively, they added Brandon Lloyd and a couple other playmakers. Stephen Ridley showed yesterday that he can be explosive when needed. So I'm going to say the Patriots.
Okay. Gronk smash.
All right, I'm not picking the Patriots because the last time I was on the show, I picked the Bruins and they got knocked out in the first round. So
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Marty.
All
I
your
picked the
fault.
Bruins too.
Thanks a lot.
All your fault.
I'm going to go with the Houston Texans as well. I think their offense is really strong right now with Foster, Johnson, and Schaub. And like Nick said, they're in one of the weakest divisions that they've been in since they've been in existence. So I like the Houston Texans out of the AFC.
Just for the record, if Daly was hosting, I would have said the Jets, and he would have got first place because he's a homer.
Well, you're going to get first anyway. Pretty creative response. And, I mean, they do have a bunch of holes in that division that could wind up just being chalked up as W's. I'm going to go to the Pats, and then Texans again. Marty, third. So let's do the NFC. Marty, lead us off.
I'm going to go with the 49ers. They showed yesterday they pretty much destroyed the Packers in their own building. I wouldn't say destroyed, but they handled them pretty well in their own field. So I like the 49ers a lot.
Okay, Shane?
I'm going to have to say the 49ers too. That defense is still great, probably best in the league. And then you add a guy like Mario Manningham, you bring in Brandon Jacobs, Randy Moss showed yesterday he can be a big red zone threat. So I think that they're going to be really tough to beat.
Zerbinski.
I like the 49ers a lot. I think they're a very underrated team, but they're underrated for the reason that they haven't gotten over that hump yet. My pick, everyone in that back room is going to go nuts. My pick is the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
The Dallas Cowboys beat the New York Giants, the defending champs, in the first game of the season. All eyes on the Dallas Cowboys, on Tony Romo. He did the one thing that's held him back from becoming an elite quarterback, and that was hold a lead late in the fourth quarter without getting hit with his own shoe or something stupid like that to lose the game. He did that. You have Miles Austin and Des Bryant who have the potential to step up and be a huge combination. And, on the defensive side, DeMarcus Ware is a beast. There's no other way to put it. If they can get those holes, they got over that one hump that's always held them back in the playoffs. If they can keep that consistent, have a lead, and hold it late in the game, they're a team to be reckoned with. And I think in their division, the Giants, all you Giants fans, defending champs, but at the same time, They have guys that could be inconsistent, like every team does, and the Cowboys already beat them. The Eagles, we all know they're a wreck. So, yeah, Dallas Cowboys.
Fair enough. It could be possible that the Cowboys wind up in that NFC Championship game at the end of the year. But I do think that NFC Championship game will be played in Candlestick Park. So, Marty, I'm going to give you first, and then I'm going to go back to the Cowboys and give you second, with Zerbinski and Shane third. All right, we've seen what you guys like in which respected conference. Let's find out which team you like the best overall. Pick your Super Bowl winner this year. Shane?
I'm going to go with the San Francisco Giants. I think that defense.
The San Francisco Giants definitely can't win the Super Bowl.
San Francisco.
Barry Bonds doesn't even play anymore.
That'd probably just kick me off the show. But anyway.
Melky's on steroids. Like, come on now.
The 49ers, I think that they're going to win the Super Bowl. I think they got Mario Manningham, like I said, Randy Moss, and that defense brings back pretty much everyone. So the 49ers will win the championship.
Okay. Zerbinski?
All right, we're talking football now, and not to steal from Marty because we talked about it earlier, but it's the way the cookie crumbles, as Mayor Menino says. We're going to go with the New England Patriots. I think they showed yesterday, Daily, the Jets will not win the Super Bowl. The New England Patriots, Tom Brady had a huge statement, I think, yesterday. He showed that he is not going to be on a downfall. Last year, a lot of people thought he was going to be on the downside of his career, on a slide, and he came out and showed it that in the first game. The defense stepped up. Chandler Jones was one of the biggest defensive players in the entire week in any team in football this year. And Stephen Ridley, if he can, that's the first time in maybe 6 years that they've had a feature running back. If he can keep that up, what he did this week, they're going to be very dangerous.
That was pretty interesting. Marty?
I like the 49ers. Everyone says that defense wins championships, and I think they have the best defense right now.
Okay. You can't pick the Texans and the Pats. You're going to get last.
Oh, I had to pick the Texans because they already picked the Pats.
That's true.
You took away points because he wasn't creative. So I had to be creative.
Hey, stop fighting.
You're still going to get last.
That's fine. I'm still going to be in the finals,
Shane first and Marty third.
I think.
Pretty.
It's going to be really
All
interesting.
right, I'll stop.
Well, wow, we have
Three-way tie.
three-way tie.
Whoa! Three-person shootout. That's it.
Maybe Zerbinski should get kicked off because he said two teams.
He said the San Francisco Giants.
Well, then
He said a baseball
You
team.
both screwed up, and Shane's the winner.
I didn't.
All right, it's a wrap.
I didn't screw up. I was playing the game.
Yeah, I guess we're going to kick you off for the Giants thing. What do you got to say, McFadden?
I messed up, plain and simple. They're obviously not the Giants. They're the 49ers. So I probably deserve that one. Good luck to both of you.
All right, we're going to go to another quick commercial break before we get into the shootout. All right, welcome back to the Ray and Mike's shootout. Fellas, shake hands.
Gronk.
That's a firm grip.
Yeah, I heard
Let's get right into it. We got 2 Monday Night Football games tonight. One of them is the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Orioles, Reds.
Who do you have winning? Marty?
I'll go with the Ravens. They made it to the AFC Championship last year. I think they're going to come out knowing they have something to prove. We all know how that ended last year, so I think they're going to be motivated to come out and put on a show.
All right. Zerbinski?
I want to say the Bengals just to be, that's how I answer questions all the time, but I think it's going to be the Ravens. I think, like you said, they have a lot of momentum, or they want to have a lot of momentum. They have a lot of reason to play and come out strong. But the things that are going to determine the game are going to be, is Joe Flacco going to be the good Joe Flacco, or is he going to be, the Joe Flacco that really no one wants to watch because he just finds one way after another to mess things up. Ray Rice is going to have to come out and be the guy that everyone thinks he can be. He hasn't been in that spotlight for more than a year where people say, he's one of the top 2 in the league. Now he is. Can he produce at that level? And, Ray Lewis and Ed Reed are a year older. That's going to be a big difference. They're not the young guys anymore coming through the middle, interception, sacks. They're a year older. You never know.
Zerbinski first, Marty second. The other game tonight being showcased on Monday Night Football is Chargers Raiders. Who you guys got? Zerbinski?
Well, I'm going to go with the Chargers, but again, it's the same case as Baltimore. It's a team. These are 2 games where you should be able to pick the winner, and these teams that we just picked should win, but it's going to be a situation where can Phillip Rivers come up and not just throw for yardage? Can he produce? Can he put the ball in the end zone instead of just get to the 20, not do anything right after that, and have to settle for a field goal? That's going to be a big deal. And what does Carson Palmer have in store for us? Can he step up and do something against San Diego D? We don't know. I hope so. I need San Diego to win with like a 50-point total. So,
All right, Marty?
I like the Chargers too. Mostly the same reason. Philip Rivers, he's kind of underachieved in the last few years. Like Nick just said, he gets there, but then he doesn't get the touchdowns when it counts. So I think the Chargers will win, but they need to finish instead of just getting all the way and then not doing anything about it.
Fair enough. Marty, I'm going to give you first because I like talking about Tim Tebow. You get second.
I knew it.
Our third question in the shootout to decide who wins this first episode back in Blitz this semester is which week will Tim Tebow start?
Timbo.
I almost just
Team
condensed.
Tebow.
Marty, start us off.
I don't know if it's going to be the week. I think it's just when the inconsistency starts for Mark Sanchez, and obviously it's probably going to happen. I know Daly's probably going to kill me for saying this, but he's not going to go out there and throw 3 touchdowns, and the Jets' offense isn't going to put up 48 points a game. Let's not get too excited. It was just the Bills. So I think as soon as the inconsistency on offense start and the Tebow chance begin, I think that's when you're going to see him.
Yeah, I don't know about that Bills defense yesterday. No mention of Jarius Byrd or Mario Williams the entire game. I don't know where they were, but they weren't in the MetLife.
Well, Bills fans got excited last year, and then the Bills right back down to earth, bringing them back down where they belong. But, obviously Tebow's going to come in when Sanchez is inconsistent because that's what a backup quarterback does. You come in when the starter's not doing his job. I think a big test for Mark Sanchez and Jets fans in general is the Pittsburgh Steelers. When you come up against the Pittsburgh Steelers after coming off this 48-point explosion, we're the best offense in the league, there's going to be something here where I think you're going to see Mark Sanchez have all that pressure. The New York media is going to be on him saying he finally stepped up. Earlier we had the best game of his career, and it's all these things that Mark Sanchez has not really heard because he's not a great quarterback. And Pittsburgh coming off a game where they're going to have a lot of drive coming off of their last game because, that's a game that they really should have won last night. There were a couple plays where they let Peyton Manning do what he does, I guess, and let Denver take that game away. I think Pittsburgh will have a lot of momentum coming in. Not momentum, but drive in their head to come out. And Mark Sanchez could get hurt in that game because Pittsburgh is going to be out with a vengeance.
And lest you forget, Tim Tebow did beat the Steelers last year in the playoffs. So you're the winner, Zerbinski. First place today, shootout champion. Spend your time as you'd like.
Well, usually I'm completely cocky after I win, and it's a new year, it's a new semester, and I'm going to be the humble one and say it was a great competition. Marty, that was a real Cinderella story coming out of the bottom with
nice.
2 last place in the first 2 questions. Got to the finals, so from one Pats fan to another, I commend you. And by the way, 8 wins on my way to 21, the new record. So everyone have a wonderful night.
Well, yeah, no, that does it for Bobcat Blitz tonight. We're all getting pretty hungry for some Ray and Mike's. So meet us here next week, Monday night at 7 o'clock. Same Blitz time, same Blitz place.